Is this the West Coast Pacific trade that we didn't know we needed? Ken Holland going out there and trying to make something work with his former team? The Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings swapping depth forwards? Today, we're diving into Warren Foegele of the LA Kings, as well as Andrew Mangiapane of the Edmonton Oilers, in a trade idea proposed by Mark Spector as to whether or not these guys could get swapped for each other 1-for-1. Now, context is needed. Why exactly are we talking about these guys? Well, Warren Foegele is 29 years old on the LA Kings, 6'2", 205, signed on till the end of next season, making $3.5 million a year. Foegele had been a pretty consistent player, I would say, in a middle to bottom six checking role with the Carolina Hurricanes. He went over to the Edmonton Oilers and was a part of some pretty good Oilers teams. He had 41 points in 82 games played, half a point a game guy in his 23-24 season with the team before heading over to the finals, where he had 8 points in 22 games over there. Last season, Foegele upped himself and was able to up the ante with 46 points in 82 games with the LA Kings. He produced a heck of a ton of points, 20-goal guy, back-to-back years. It was an awesome development for a guy who had just been on the up and up. But this season, things aren't going all too hot. Foegele has 8 points in 43 games played, on pace for 13 points over 69 games. So, a pretty nice amount of games there. And by all accounts, the LA Kings, they want to get something done here with improving their squad up front. They want some goal scorers. They want some players that will help them advance into the wild card picture and potentially a top 3 spot in the Pacific. They're not in that spot right now. Warren Foegele is understandably worse off this season than he was last, and rumor has it maybe he could be on the move. Who knows? Meanwhile, you have Andrew Mangiapane in Edmonton, probably the more notable tradable asset out of the two. Mangiapane is also 29 years old. The contract goes on till 26-27. I don't know why it says 27-28 over here. It's a 2-year deal, is it not? Yeah, okay. 25-26, 26-27. If we go over to Puckpedia, yeah, no, it's a 2-year deal. Elite prospects, y'all are going to have to do some work here. Why does it say that Mangiapane's contract is a 27-28 expiration? That is incorrect here. Yeah, it says it right there on the website. But anyways, same contract expiration date as Warren Foegele, roughly the same cap hit, also a 29-year-old guy. Now, we did make a video about Mangiapane earlier in the offseason last year, saying that this guy was a really good addition to Edmonton. He fits the playstyle that they have. When I think of Mangiapane, I think of the Calgary Flames, Team Canada Mangiapane, that went out there and was just scoring goals like crazy. He could barrel himself to the front of the goal with the puck on his backhand and then pull it to the forehand and score over and over again. He was a 35-goal guy with Calgary in 21-22. 55 points in 82 games. The next 2 seasons saw Mangiapane put up 40 points with the Flames before heading over to Washington and only scoring 28 points in 81 games there. He then signed with the Edmonton Oilers, as we had noted, a 2-year contract, not a 3-year contract, not 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28. I don't know why Elite Prospects is displaying the wrong number over here. But Mangiapane, I thought, was going to fit in very well. He plays with speed, he plays with pace. The idea of Edmonton grabbing these fast, quick guys to play with McDavid just makes sense in my mind. Not that everybody that gets signed ends up actually playing with McDavid, but the Kapanins, the Podkolzins, the Mangiapanes, heck, even the Warren Foegeles of yesteryear, these guys exhibited that sort of identity of quick, dog-like guys that can play on the wings in Edmonton. And I thought Mangiapane would be a great fit. He hasn't been. 12 points, 49 games, on pace for 18 points, and it's been pretty well documented that him and his contract are probably going to be on the move at some point. Apparently he's frustrated. Who really knows? Which is why we head over on to Mark Spector. He went out there and responded to an NHL Rumor Report tweet. Elliot Friedman, Speaking about the LA Kings, talking on TNT Thursday night, Ken Holland mentioned Warren Foegele, who has been a scratch, as someone that he will need to move. And this is where Mark Spector went out there and straight up replied to the tweet. Foegele at $3.5 million through next season, for Mangiapane, $3.6 million through next season. Do this trade straight up? Now, on paper, it actually makes a lot of sense. Both of these guys play similar styles, both of these guys can play winger center, both of these guys are 29 years old, and both of these guys are roughly making the same cap hit till the same expiration date. Warren Foegele has fewer points, he's got 8 and 42, Mangiapane has 12 and 49, but really, that difference is negligible if both of these assets are distressed, and they both want out. Now, if we go out there and read some of the replies to this Twitter thread, Dora Anderson says, I thought Foegele was unhappy with the Oilers after he left. He was being critical of management. Surely he would not come to Edmonton. And then the funny reply is, hey, the GM that let him walk is now his own GM. He was just salty that the Oilers didn't re-sign him. That management is now in LA. LOL. So I do think that argument is getting dismissed quite hard there. Oh yeah, Warren Foegele was ticked off with the Edmonton management when he left. Psych, that management is now in LA with him. Other replies are talking about how if either team is unable to find a suitor, this is probably the best case scenario for both of these guys. Slightly less points for a better plus-minus, however, on a better defensive team, I don't know. In isolation, sure. I make that trade and bring Bouchard back, his buddy, but Foegele is struggling just as hard in LA as Mangiapane is in Edmonton, and the Oilers need $3.6 million of cap space from moving Mangiapane, not another cap inefficiency. Now, interesting rebuttal there. Of note of Foegele, they have him playing amongst the toughest competition in the league, and his results are good for expected goals for. Not as good for goals. He is fast, big, and kills penalties. He brings more of what the Oilers are lacking in the bottom six, in my opinion. Now, you can see the graph over here, Warren Foegele. That 25-26 LA season is all the way at the top. Another reply says, sure, and that's fair, and as I said in isolation, I'd trade Mangiapane for Foegele all day. However, even with the above info, he has a massive cap grave so far. That could change on the Oilers, but for now, they need $3.6 million of cap space, and not an inefficiency back. Right? Yeah, I agree if they can package Mangiapane with a mid-round pick, that is preferable, but I imagine they would be done by now if they had that as an option. I just don't think any team will be interested in Mangiapane, a 5'10 forward who doesn't PK, and who is a minus 21, and who is on pace for about 20 points. So if you can get anything for this guy, seems like that might actually be the play here for the Edmonton Oilers. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Andrew Mangiapane as a potential LA King? How do you feel about Warren Foegele heading back over to EDM? Honestly, the best out of Mangiapane, we haven't really seen it in like 2 seasons or so. He was a beast with Calgary. If you can get this guy on LA, talk about goal scorers needed to be added to the Kings, Mangiapane could be a pretty good one. And considering the defensive quality of this team, I would honestly be pretty open to opening up one of those top forward spots for a Mangiapane if you believe that it's possible to bring the best out of him like some of these other teams had in the past. Kenny Holland, of course, going out there and making a trade, sending out guys that apparently were frustrated with him in the past. That sounds like a pretty good idea, too. We already know that Warren Foegele has a proven and solid track record with Edmonton. And I wouldn't imagine that Oilers fans would not like this guy back. I don't know. I mean, there are some disagreeing with it, of course. Oh, he's making 3.6 and he's struggling. 3.5, excuse me. Why should the Oilers go out there and get it? But you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Mangiapane, Foegele, yay or nay? Is this Edmonton and LA trade something that makes sense to you? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99. And bye.